Oh, hello. Today I'm going to explain what we did during the on-site session on October the 21st, Tuesday. So you will allow me to share my screen. Um, okay. What we did, I explained that we are going to move everything from the Teams assignments to the public platform that we use for the classes, because I guess that that will cause less trouble than now the restricted area is causing. We will continue to use Teams, especially for when we have to connect or when we have to call an online meeting, whether because there are students who cannot attend the on-site session and they would like to connect, or when the classes are suspended because of heavy rains or whatever other reason, so we can conduct a class online thanks to Teams, on Teams. So yesterday, what we did, we came to the class, our class or our group section on the initial page of glorymail.com, October the 23rd, on-site. In this on-site session, we came to the lesson plan, which is this. Okay, so what we did yesterday was that we started with a short speaking activity, and there were three thought-provoking pictures that I showed, and they sparked debate on certain hot topics globally, which are related to global issues. And so we discussed, we debated, people gave their opinions, and we explained how to enhance some of the, let's say, utterances that we did. I mean, how we can improve on the present way of expressing ourselves when there was an idea we wanted to get across. After that, I said that these are very interesting materials. You have the links to those materials, and we will be working on those materials during the online session. Usually I will ask you to do specifically those units from these materials or those sections from these materials which are relevant to what we do during the on-site session or anything else which I consider important for you to brush up on. So what we did next was we started correcting the sentences that I had given you the previous day. But we didn't go very far. We just did the first and the second. We were going to do the third, but we did not have time, which means that we will go back to it next day, because we started and you got a glimpse of the fact that the sentence requires a phrasal verb. But I did not have enough time to explain how phrasal verbs work, which means, I mean the type of phrasal verb, transitive and intransitive, and whether the phrasal verb, the transitive phrasal verb is separable and non-separable, and why. But we will say that during the next on-site session. Okay. And concerning to the first sentence, you have the key below. You have the key below, but we said that the right sentence was he denied being responsible for the financial losses. Interesting things to say about the sentence. The verb denied, which is followed by gerund because it is a retrospective verb. So what I have done is that within the playlist corresponding to the recap videos. I mean, the recap videos. If you come here, your learning companion, okay, you have a playlist with all the videos that put you up to date on what we have done. For example, this video, or any other videos which might be relevant to what we did during the on-site session. For example, I have just included a video where I explained what prospection, retrospection is and how it can affect. There are several, but I only included two, sorry, the introductory and how it can affect the relationship between verb and complement, which comes to explain why deny, to deny being a retrospective verb is followed by a gerund. He denied being. Sorry, excuse me. The next interesting item to bear in mind is responsible for. Responsible for, responsible is an adjective that is usually followed by the preposition for. So he denied being responsible for the financial loss. Responsible for is an adjective which usually collocates with the verb to hold. You hold someone responsible for something. I mean, for example, if you will, let me, for example, here, I will open it here. Okay. Okay. 30. To hold someone responsible for something. So the collocation is to hold someone responsible for something. And it is very commonly used in the passive voice. Someone should or any other tense, be or shouldn't be or is. I mean, we can change the tense if we wish to. Held, held responsible for something. So the phrase, the collocation, and collocations are very important. You have to show at the exam that you know the collocation, because if you don't use the collocation, you are openly stating in a disguised way that you don't know the collocation. So that's the kind of vocabulary that I would like to deal with this year. Not so much the topic-based vocabulary, but the vocabulary that uh, might provoke your being caught out. We are caught out because you are really telling me. I can read between the lines that you do not know, you are not familiar with the collocation, and that's what you have to avoid. So the collocation is to be held responsible for something, or hold someone responsible for something. Okay. So the sentence. Another interesting thing that I would like to highlight in the sentence is the financial losses, instead of using the word money. So another thing that we have to get familiar with this year is abstraction. We have to use abstract nouns, and for that we need word formation. That is why in the online session assignments, I usually include all of the reading activities that you find in an exam. Why? Because even though at the exam we don't have any rephrasings and we don't have any word formations, you really need them. Not so much for the reading as for the speaking or the expression. For example, the transformations are mediation skills, because I give you a sentence like this and I ask you to express the same idea but using the words I give you, deny and for. So loss is the noun which is derived from to lose. So it's a word formation, let's say, step, or a word formation task, because you have to move from the verb to the noun. So financial loss, and the adjective is also word formation, finance, financial. So that phrase, financial losses, saves you, spares you having to use the word money, which is one of the taboos that we said this year. Again, I gave you this handout, which you will see included in the lesson plan here. And in this handout, I give you the steps that you have to take before transferring an idea from Spanish to English. Is it important? Yes, it is important, because when you transfer an idea, you choose the tools that you use to transfer that idea. If the exercise that you are given is in English, in order to avoid using Spanish, the problem is that they have chosen the tools for you and you don't have to think about it, about what or how to express an idea. But if I give you the idea in Spanish and tell you, okay, I'm going to show you the way in which you can transfer it without copying, then you have to choose the tools. And your choice of tools is the one that is going to give me your level. So how can I transfer an idea? First of all, I have to learn the word FTTS. I will make a video on that where I will explain it more carefully. FTTS means fact or function. Function is when I appeal to someone else, especially expecting this person to do something physical for me. Excuse me, would you be so kind as to open the door? So if I do that, I am not asking if he is kind or not. I am requesting or requiring an action on his side, which is standing up, going to the door and closing it. If it is a function, then we learn the formulas. Close the door, please. Can you close the door? Could you close the door? Will you close the door? Would you close the door? Uh, would you mind closing the door? Would you be so kind as to close the door? So there are different formulas to do the same linguistic function. What happens when we have a fact? A fact is information. I simply want to ask for information, give information, or that information that I give might be affirmative or negative. So how can I do that when my thoughts are structured in Castilian or Valencia and I want to transfer them to English? In the first place, I have to identify, to locate the action on the timeline. I mean, the adverbial of time is very important, probably not syntactically, because it comes to at the end or at the beginning. It's very tangential. But inherently, it's more important than it might seem, because thanks to it, I can identify the tense of the verb much more effective. I need it, not much more effective. Effectively, I need it. I need the reference of time, whether expressed or an underlying reference. For example, if I say Napoleon, okay, Napoleon is dead, which means that whatever I may say about him is past. So if it is, whether it is expressed, clearly expressed in the sentence or not, I have to infer the time when the sentence happened. So I have to identify the time first. The orange ones are the past related time locations. Now, this moment, the yellow, the green, past, present, future habit. The purple, hypothetical situations, they are special. They are special. We will deal with them some other time. And then the blue area is the future. Then, as you can see, depending on the timeline you choose, you have the corresponding tense. If it is a specific action in the past, past simple. If it is a specific action in the past, but it's not a spot but a line, past continuous, etc., etc., etc. And once you have decided that, and you have decided what tense it is, then you will know whether you need a Kevin, which is an auxiliary, or not. What I will do is that I will include the diagram of the Kevins that I gave you the other day in the handouts, in today's handouts, showing you more or less how many Kevins there are in English. Okay, and after that we pass to this structure. So if it is affirmative, It might happen that we need Kevins or not. We might have subject, verb, and complement, or we might need Kevins. For example, a Kevin, a modal Kevin, or a Kevin of tense, an aspect Kevin, or a voice Kevin, the passive voice. Aspect means perfect or progressive. And model, the models, usually when you put a face, this face or see, when you put a face to the sentence, it means that there is a mood that the speaker uh, inflicts, let's say, infuses in the sentence that has to be expressed through the modal verb. Or the tense, for example, the future, will. Even though I have to say that will comes from a model. It's really a model of will. So I have tried to start the car, but it won't. It won't. I mean, it is not willing. So will, the future comes from will. That's why when you use the future, it's very strong. I will, meaning I want. And the same when it's negative, subject, the first Kevin that you might have, not the second, the third, verb and complement. And when it is question, question word, Kevin one, subject, the rest of Kevin's verb and complement. So you have this handout attached, posted on the page that corresponds to this week's lesson plan. And as I said, I will add the diagram of Kevin's in case you need to sort of brush up how many Kevins we have. There are more, there are more. Even there are Kevin phrases, auxiliary phrases that have not been included there. They have been included here. They have been included here. We have the first part of the phrase and the second. For example, be going to, which is a phrase that we use for the future. I am not going to come, because we do not have a voice. I am not going to come next week. So be going to is a tense phrase or it's a kind of phrase of auxiliary phrase, and we have to part it into two, split it into two. It's too long to be moved as a block. So we let's say we detach the capture, which would be to be here, and the going, which is the second part, comes with Kevin too. So this is more or less what we did yesterday. Anyway, we will continue in our next on-site session. We will continue doing the sentences that we couldn't do yesterday. As for the second, which I didn't say, obviously it requires an inversion. No sooner had I. No sooner had oof, and as I have an ER, which is a comparative, than subject, verb, and complement. And this is to emphasize the sequence and the immediacy between two actions. I mean, the prospection, the sequence between two actions. As soon as I did this, something else happened. No sooner had I done this than something else happened. And this is the answer to the second sentence. And we will continue with the third during our next on-site session. So I think that this explanation more or less helps you catch up on what we did yesterday. And if there are any queries that you would like to ask me, you can either ask me through the anywhere, through Ithaca, through Teams, through my email address, my Conselleria email address, or you can simply ask me next day during the on-site session. Thank you for your attention, and enjoy your online session, and see you next Tuesday at 7. Thank you.